today, and you're gonna have the recipe. I use lard and like Crisco or whatever. Now, if you don't want to use lard, that's fine. You can just use all Crisco. But and I get the big because I do a lot. But I actually was at Walmart the other day and noticed that they do have a small one, like the cottage cheese container. I think it was like $1.88. Another thing, I always keep all of my lards, opened lards and Criscos in the refrigerator, so it keeps it fresh longer. Okay, so another little trick I learned many, many years ago. Now this is going to be, I'm going to need about 1.5 cups. So it's like, oh, that's a pain. How are you going to know exactly? Really what you want to do, this is a 2-cup container, and I put 1/2 cup of water in it. So now what I will do is I will go, and I like to go about half and half. But again, like if you don't want to use any of the lard, you don't have to. But I do. So what you want to do is just go ahead and put that in there.
Huh, I never.
You did know this.
No.
And just kind of keep pushing it on down.
And what is the...
And once with the water, when the water gets up to about your 2-cup amount, which is right there, you know that I'm going to have, I have 1.5 cups of this, because the rest of it is 1.5 cups of the lard and Crisco. Then you need about 3 cups, and again, you'll have this recipe, about 3 cups of flour.
Just all purpose.
Yep, just plain old purpose flour. A teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of sugar. And then I don't know if you have a pastry blender or if you have forks or however you ever do this, but I've had this forever, and you just kind of start working it. And I want to show you in a minute what I want it to look like, if you need to add more flour or if you need to add more of the shortening. Because one thing, and I think my girls can attest, most of the time my pie crusts are very, very flaky. They like almost melt in your mouth. So they're not like a real hard.
And what does that come from?
Plenty of shortening. So what I want to show you here, you almost at this point, see how that almost even sticks together, without any water in it at all. So you know, I just remember my grandma Reinhardt always telling me, that's what she always told me, and I guess I've just kind of learned that. So if it's still at this point real floury, you'll want to add a little bit more shortening. But yeah, this is just about sticks together without any water in it. And then ice water. So, and I just put some ice cubes in here, just have some. And I put down the recipe, it's approximately 1/2 cup. You just kind of start working with it. This recipe is very forgiving, and you'll see when you roll it out what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever put ice in my water, so that might be why it's not so flaky.
And again, like we did the last week with our noodles, you kind of want to get in, and I want to keep kind of working it up so it's one big ball. If you need a little bit more water, I like it to be a little bit more pasty at this point, because you guys have flour on your board. So there you have all the, and this will be about enough for about 4 pie crusts. So again, I've got my trusty board with my gripper underneath it. You want to make sure that you have, I usually just kind of use my hands at this point and kind of,
It looks so tender. It rolls out easy.
just roll it on out and then like I said, this is very forgiving. And I just always make sure I kind of push it down in a little bit because you can see I'll need some there, but this is such a great that I'll just take some from there and kind of smush it in on here. And you want to have it a little thicker up around the crust area. So I pour some of it off.
And the crust edge, that's just preference. Sometimes it's crimped, sometimes you see people with forks.
I'll crimp it in a minute, but I want to make sure I have enough to crimp. That's why I'm thickening it, putting a little bit, making it a little thicker. So I'll show you here why I'm doing that. So this is just kind of what I do, go around to make sure that I have plenty around this. And then I just with my...
Okay, how are you doing that?
I don't know, I just, with my...
You're pinching it?
Just kind of with one finger. There you go.
Nice.
And what I do when I make this, I'll just do, but like I said, I usually do 4. I'll put like some saran wrap in between, put the next one, pie crust in it, saran, and then wrap it all up with foil and throw them in the freezer. Saran wrap, just so you have a little bit underneath each one. I already got some done here. Put that in there, and then I'll just get a piece of foil and wrap it all the way around and throw it in the freezer, and that way as I need them, I just take them out.
How long do they last in the freezer?
Oh, they would last, well, they don't last too long around here because we go through them, but I would say, oh golly, 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Easy.
Okay.
Something like
Perfect.
that. Yeah. See, and another thing, I want to show you how I do it when I bake them as well. Now, if you're going to do a crust or a pie that's like a cream filling, which we're going to show some cream fillings today, you will want to prick it with a fork, which is what I usually do. And then what I do, and again, I think you can have pie weights. I don't have anything like that. I never have. I just always take it. I just keep a couple of these in my drawer. Parchment paper. I put it there. I just take it and put that in there. And I will bake it. I do it 375. At this point, maybe about 15 minutes. I'll bring it out and then carefully I just go like that, take that out of the way, and then bake it about another 11 minutes. So I did one here earlier. It's still kind of warm, but I want you to see, this is how it should kind of golden brown. And again, I mean, this here would just melt in your mouth if you wanted to. Next, we're going to do the famous chocolate pie. then this, I'll show you how I'll do this. So you need 3/4 cup of sugar. And I just went ahead and used this because there's other things you're going to need 1/4 of a cup. So 3 of those of sugar. I have, you want 1/4, and again, you'll have these recipes. 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. 1/4 cup of flour. 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. 2 eggs.
You had those sitting out. Was there a reason?
Well, I just figured it out, so okay. I didn't have to. No, not necessarily. 2 eggs. And then what I do, then you're going to need a total of 2 cups milk. At this point, I put just a little bit of milk. And this will be the same scenario whenever you make the cream fillings, which I've already made one. It makes it a lot easier. At this point, you want it just enough that you can start getting this. You can beat it around. See how you have that all nice, and then at that point, then you can put the rest of your milk in it.
Yeah, and that will help eliminate any of the flour clumps.
Yeah, there's right, and there's no chunks of flour or whatever in it. You know, you have it all. It's really nice and smooth. I'm going to do it back here like this. And then you want about 2 tablespoons of butter. And then I just throw that in there. And you'll have to watch it. And we'll just let it cook. And this is a really good vanilla, so you can go ahead and put it takes about a teaspoon of vanilla. If you have the imitation, whatever, you probably would do that at the end, but this doesn't cook out like the imitations do. And we'll just let that go. It probably takes close to 5 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a little bit when it gets going. Yeah, we're continuing. I just keep working. I mean, you don't have to totally beat it all the time, but just kind of keep things moving, because if not, it will scorch. And this is what you don't want to do. So just make sure you don't have anything else going on right now when you're making these fillings, because you have to stay with it the whole time so it doesn't scorch. So now you can see this is starting to get, and it'll start to bubble. And I like to kind of keep working at the bubbles, if not, because they'll pop all over the place, for about 20-25 seconds, just kind of to make sure it's all cooked real good. This will be this is the same way you'll have the other recipe for the vanilla filling. I'll go through that there in a little bit. You can see how that's gonna thicken up. Can you smell it? That's pretty much it. Then what I like to do, and you could if you wanted to, just kind of keep it in the pan, but I usually have another little bowl or something that I will just go ahead and put it in here. And this will be enough for just a nice pie. Of course, at this point, I can't put water on it because Poppy always likes to lick out the pan. So I'll just put that aside. And then I cover it with saran wrap. Kind of push that down because you don't want You want it sealed so it stays nice. And then I'll let that cool till it's like room temperature and then refrigerate it. So you can do this even the day before. This morning before we went down to Bluffton to see Mom, and it is just the cream filling. It's just a basic cream filling, and you'll have that recipe as well. So you can see here what that looks like. It's just now on the basic cream filling. If you wanted to make coconut cream pie, you could put like when you're mixing it up while you're cooking it, put like a half a cup of coconut in it. This makes a really good pecan cream pie too. I remember back in the day, we used to have a place called Char King, and they were known for their pecan cream pie. And it was more, the cream filling was a little different color. And if you cook your pecans in, as you're doing it, it turns it more of a brownish color. It's really, really good. If you want to do banana cream, you just put the banana. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a peanut butter pie, and it's a way that you can do a peanut butter. Basically, and I have that recipe for you as well. Basically, it is like the filling that you make like Buckeyes with. It's butter, powdered sugar, and peanut butter, but it has a little bit more powdered sugar in it. So what I do here is just take a little bit of that and spread that around on the bottom. Same scenarios. Then you'll want to save a little bit for the top after you put your whipping cream on it. And then just the rest of it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to look a lot worse than this down in our tummies when we eat it. Again, just kind of spread that all around. And I'll show you how I do my whip topping. And again, if you would want to just top this with a thing of Cool Whip, totally delicious. You can certainly do that too. I like to do a little bit of real whipped cream and Cool Whip, and I'll show you how I do that. Heavy whipping cream, and for just this pie here, I probably only use, oh goodness, maybe a heavy half a cup maybe. Probably a milk, I probably had about a quarter of a cup. Add a little bit. And again, you can use the other, this is the white. It just makes about a half a teaspoon into that. And then, and about a half a tub of
Have you done this always?
Always. I've always done the two. Yeah, when I do it for family. Sometimes when it's just Dad and I won't mess with whipping cream. But again, you get that taste of like you think it's a real all whipping cream, and it's like a fraction of the amount. Another thing, he looks out. And then you can just take the rest of the crumbly stuff. Put it over the top, and there you have your peanut butter pie.